Shortly after Jesus died, 2 of his followers left the city of Jerusalem and were walking down the road towards a village called Emmaus. While they walked, they were talking about all the things that had happened in the last few days. They were talking about Jesus sharing the Last Supper at Passover and how he had been arrested and crucified. They couldn't believe that Jesus' body had just disappeared from the tomb. "Maybe someone came and took him away," one of the men said. "But why would someone want to do that?" the other replied. So much had happened, and they could just not understand what it was all for. Then they were joined by another traveller, walking towards Emmaus too. The 2 men did not recognise him, but they asked the man if he would like to walk with them, and he was very happy to do so. The stranger asked them, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" They looked very miserable, and one of the men, called Cleopas, said, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem who does not know the things that have happened there in these last few days?" "What things?" asked the stranger. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet and an amazing man. The chief priests and our rulers were jealous of him and handed him over, and he was crucified. We had hoped he would be the Son of God and save us. Today is the 3rd day after his death. He said he would rise from the dead by the 3rd day, but he hasn't come back." The men continued to tell their story. "Some women who knew Jesus went to the tomb this morning and said his body had disappeared. They told us that they had seen angels who had said he was alive. But when one of our friends went to the tomb, they found the stone had been rolled away, but Jesus was not there." The stranger said, "You are being very silly. Don't you remember that that's what Jesus said would happen? That the stone would be rolled away and his body would not be there?" With that, the stranger then went on to tell the 2 men everything the prophets said would happen to Jesus. When the men reached the village, the stranger was going to continue on his journey, but the men said, "It's nearly night time. Stay with us and share a meal." So later, when they were about to eat the meal, the stranger took some bread and gave thanks and broke it. Suddenly, the 2 men realised it was no stranger at all. It was Jesus! They couldn't believe their eyes. He had really come back from the dead. But as soon as the men knew it was Jesus, he disappeared from their sight. The 2 men stared at each other in amazement. One said, "Did our hearts not burn within us while he talked to us about what the prophets had said?" They realised that talking to Jesus had affected them and made them believe in God's amazing power even more than they did before. So immediately they set off back to Jerusalem to tell the other disciples. "Everyone, listen, it's true. The Lord has risen and appeared to us." Then they told the others everything that had happened and explained when Jesus had broken the bread that they had truly recognised him.